Okay guys, welcome back to Old World Wednesday, and what I'm doing in today's video is going back in time and trying to conquer a video that I failed at. I don't think there's very many videos I tried to make that I actually failed. I could probably count them on one hand, even 3 fingers. I literally don't think there's that many. I'm very good at like powering through, getting stuff done, figuring out mistakes and kind of working the problem until I get something that I'm happy with. But a while ago, I did try and paint purple Lizardmen. That was my old Warhammer Fantasy army. I had 14,000 points of fully painted purple dinosaurs. They were pretty awful looking. It was one of my first ever armies. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'll do a good version of one. I'll see what that looks like. I built a whole unit of Kroxigors, 3 of them, the new plastic ones, put them on square bases. They looked amazing. And I was super excited to get started. And I just failed miserably. I struggled so hard with purple. I don't know why. If anyone out there who's really artistic knows of any reason why purple is a more difficult color to work with, please do let me know as well. Maybe give myself a little bit of relief. Or is it just that I'm bad at this color? Who knows? So I decided to retackle that. So in today's video, I'm going to make sure by the end of it, I'm left with an awesome looking purple Kroxigor that I would be proud to paint an entire Lizardmen army back up in those colors and get them back on the table. So hopefully you guys are excited for that. Before I get into it though, I just want a huge thank you out there for everyone that is supporting the channel, and whether it's by liking, commenting, subscribing, making sure to subscribe, it's super important. Those are absolutely super and crucial to the success of the channel. And then everyone out there goes the extra mile and supports over on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for doing that. You guys literally keep the lights on and the cameras rolling. There's a million different reasons to be involved in the Patreon: extra videos, extra podcast episodes. You get access to a private Discord server where there's over 500 people to hang out with, talk hobby. It's a very supportive group. And then we do monthly giveaways every single month. This month we are giving away an awesome Mechanicum army box set. So if you want to be on the chance of winning that, all you need to do is be signed up to Patreon at any tier. Okay, that's enough ranting. Let's get in and paint purple. Okay, first off, let's look at our failures. This one just turned out too flat and bland, and I didn't really know where to take it from there. This one I tried applying contrast. It ended up really blotchy and weird. Usually I'm really comfortable with contrast. It just didn't seem to work. So those were the 2 purple ones that I kind of gave up on and got frustrated with. This is the last member of that squad, which I sprayed this morning to get ready for this video. And I'm excited to just really make it work. So I took the Amethyst Rain, the Sorcerer's Cloak, and the Runic Purple colors from the Tooth and Coats range of paints. This is their triad. I very much assaulted it with the darkest purple first with a nice big brush. I just wanted to get a nice solid purple coat on. I learned from my mistakes with the one with the contrast, which it was just showing too much kind of like pallid color through it. And then it made it really difficult to try and add any actual kind of layers to it after the fact. So I'm going to start nice and dark. Once that solid dark coat is on, I do go in with that mid-tone color, that Sorcerer's Cloak, and I take my time and I go for every bump and every nook and cranny and every raised scale and every spike in his jawline and his eyes and all those bits and pieces. And I quite actually enjoy this style of painting, this like layering and breaking up all the different volumes of a model. And it can be really therapeutic if you're not under any like time constraints or anything like that. I was a little bit nervous just because I know my track record with purple is pretty awful. And I didn't know whether this was going to just be another wasted day trying to make it work. So I very much just took my time. I made sure to be as kind of neat and tidy as possible, to be really deliberate with each brushstroke, knowing the kind of directions, even like where on each individual scale I wanted to add a little bit of a highlight to, and so on until I was finished with that first or mid-tone color and that I was satisfied with it. And I genuinely find that the mid-tone is the kind of most difficult one when you're painting like this, because once you've done that, you've got your final highlight and you're just going inside what you've done with the mid-tone. You know what I mean? Exactly the same brush strokes, exactly the same positioning of highlights, just a little bit smaller, a little bit less kind of tall, a little bit less wide, and inside those original highlights. And then you just kind of attack the model. Everything is lighter, everything is less. It's there to accentuate the kind of highest points and make those pop while leaving the recesses nice and dark. So as you can see, I'm focusing on the big thigh scales. Normally, I would have attacked these in a different color. Once I have like a monster like this and he's got very distinctive scales and very distinctive kind of flat areas, I tend to do them in 2 different colors. It's easier to paint. But I wanted to challenge myself with the purple, so I did go around and do it with just that same color the whole way across. And in the end, I was actually quite pleased with how the purple looked. It still looked quite like one color, because the model was just sitting there at one color. And there wasn't a hell of a lot of other parts to the model that I thought were going to break it up. Like he's got a giant big weapon, he's got a few gold trinkets hanging off him, but that's about it. So part of me did even consider for a while going back in on all those spikes and horns that are protruding from like knees and elbows and stuff like that. Going in and doing them as like a traditional bone color just to break up the purple. But that was just the jitters. That was just me being afraid to trust the process I'd set myself. So I was like, nope, I'm going to leave them highlighted purple, same as the rest of it. I'm just going to attack the rest of the details and see what the model looks like at the very end. So very quickly in there with some Rhinox hide for the haft of this giant war mace. Some Mechanicus standard gray for the kind of inside of the head of the mace. The mace is basically like a big solid slate of, I don't know, old stone, and then it's wrapped in gold, and then, you know, it's got loads of like runic etchings and stuff on it. But at its core, he's just swinging around a big cinder block basically. So yeah, made sure to get that a nice coat of gray. Then we jumped into heirloom gold from Two Thin Coats and did a solid base coat on all of the gold sections. It took 2 thin coats, funny enough, to get the gold layer to where I wanted it to. It sits really well over the purple, so some of those sections could have probably gotten away with just the one. But obviously all the detail on the head of the axe and stuff, or the mace, was going to need 2 coats before we got anywhere near the kind of shading section. And then, of course, we just had a couple of other details. So we put some kind of dark pinky purple color in the mouth. And then we highlighted all the teeth with a Cody Shapty bone, or else base coated all the teeth. We'll go in with a little highlight later on. It's not actually Xandri, it's Xandri dust. So Xandri dust on all the teeth at this point to have a little bit of a base coat. After this, it was time to shade all the parts apart from the purple. So the entire weapon, from top to bottom, the inside of the mouth, and all the gold details are going to get shaded. I actually grabbed an army painter one for this. It was warm skin tone. It just added a really nice kind of tint to the gold. Obviously, we put some 8K Dark Earth texture paste on the ground. When that was fully dried, I went in with some orange paint and I just dry brushed over that. Usually I just reach for Rise of Rust. I dry brush this all over the fully dried texture paste. Has to be fully dried first. Then I dry brush bone over the top of that really lightly. I rim the edges black, and that gives me the nice base coat for the model and the base. A few bits left to highlight, so we went in with Dragon's Gold this time, making sure that shade we applied is nice and dry, and we just highlighted up all those gold sections to make those details once again pop. It's one of the glorious things about choosing purple as an army color for Lizardmen. Is obviously the Lizardmen are based on like Aztec designs, so there's quite a lot of gold on all their weapons and jewelry, and purple and gold sit next to each other so well that it just looks awesome. Went in with a little bit of Dawnstone and just quickly highlighted up all of those stone sections of the mace again, just to make them nice and neat and tidy, leaving all those recesses nice and shaded. And then it was time to grab a little bit of foliage. This time I'm reaching into my box of goodies from Green Stuff World for all of this. So these shrub pieces have become a channel favorite when I'm basing up awesome fantasy miniatures. Cut them to size, super glue them into place, and create kind of bushes of all different lengths, and as I just love them, they're really cool. A bunch of different colors to choose from as well. A little bit of extra super glue, and then some of this clump foliage. Obviously, after the super glue dries, which only takes a couple seconds, you just pull the excess away, and then you're left with a nice like mossy bit of ground or a little bush or shrub. I think it really sells it. So with all that done, we have our finished purple Lizardman or purple dinosaur. Yes, it's Barney. And I'm actually quite pleased with it. I think it looks awesome. I think I've conquered my fear of painting purple. What do you guys think of the tone that I chose? Do you think it should be highlighted even more and be pulled up, or do you think it's the kind of the correct tone? Do you think the scale should have been a different color? I don't know. Quite happy with it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for sticking around at the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one.